What if I told you that the internet you know, Google, YouTube, your social media, isn't even 10% of the entire existing network? In fact, some experts estimate that the content we access daily represents less than 1% of the total. The truth is, we only navigate the surface of a vast, deep, and largely invisible digital ocean, a universe of data, secrets, and possibilities that is just a few clicks away, yet completely isolated from our digital world. And it is to the darkest layers of this ocean that we will journey today. Get ready, because here on Light and Shadows Global, we're going to dive deep to understand what they really are, the enigmatic depths of the dark web. First of all, we need a map. The internet is divided into 3 layers. The first is the surface web. This is the everyday internet. If a search engine like Google can find and list a link, it's on the surface. It's the tip of our iceberg, visible to everyone. Just below that, we have the deep web. And here lies the first big surprise. The deep web is not a scary place. Most of it is actually surprisingly mundane and makes up over 90% of the entire internet. Think about everything that requires a login and password to access. Your email, your bank account, cloud files, internal systems of companies and universities, government databases, paywalled scientific articles. All of this is the deep web. These are pages that are not indexed by search engines on purpose, either to protect your privacy or because they're simply irrelevant to the general public. But if we go even deeper, through a special kind of access, we reach a place that was intentionally built to be anonymous. A small fraction of the deep web, but the most famous of all. This is the dark web. It's an overlay network, a darknet, that can only be accessed with specific software. To enter the dark web, a regular browser won't work. You need to use specific software, like Tor, which stands for the Onion Router. And the name is perfect. But the most ironic part is who created it. The technology behind Tor was actually developed in the mid-1990s by researchers associated with the United States Naval Research Laboratory. The goal was noble: to create a secure and anonymous way of online communication to protect the communications of American spies and intelligence agents abroad. The technology was so successful that in the 2000s, it was released as an open-source project, allowing anyone to use it. The way it works is brilliant. Imagine your connection to a website is a message. On the normal internet, this message travels almost directly from your computer to the site's server. It's easy to trace its origin. Tor takes your message and wraps it in multiple layers of encryption, like an onion. Then it sends this packet through a random path of several volunteer computers around the world known as nodes. At each stop, one layer of the onion is peeled away, revealing only the next step. No one in the chain knows the full path. When the message finally reaches its destination, the last node in the network doesn't know where it came from, and your internet provider doesn't know where it went. It's this almost complete anonymity that defines the dark web. The sites there don't end in .com, but in .onion. Their addresses are a random sequence of letters and numbers generated by cryptographic algorithms. Impossible to memorize, impossible to find by chance. It's a dark digital alley you only enter if you have the exact address. It is because of this anonymity that the dark web has become a stage for the best and the worst of human nature. The Silk Road Empire. One of the most famous cases was the Silk Road. It was a gigantic online marketplace, a kind of Amazon of the underworld, where you could find everything, especially items and services considered controversial or illegal. The creator, a young libertarian programmer named Ross Ulbricht, operated under the pseudonym Dread Pirate Roberts. He believed he was creating a free market paradise, free from regulation. For years, the site operated in the shadows, moving the equivalent of billions of dollars in cryptocurrency. The FBI's hunt was relentless and cinematic. For a long time, Dread Pirate Roberts seemed like a ghost, but ghosts don't make human errors. Ross's mistake was that years before Silk Road became an empire, he had used an email with his real name on a forum to promote the site in its early stages. A single digital clue, a loose thread in the vastness of the web, which agents tirelessly pulled until they unraveled the entire skein. The capture of Ross Ulbricht in a San Francisco public library while he was logged in as the site's administrator marked the end of an era. But the fall of Silk Road didn't mean the end. Other markets emerged, and many specialized in something even more present in our daily lives: data. There are forums and marketplaces on the dark web entirely dedicated to selling information stolen from major data breaches. Credit card numbers, social media passwords, complete personal data. Everything has a price. It's a ghost economy that profits from our digital lives. The urban legends. And where there are shadows, there are monsters. The dark web is fertile ground for urban legends that exploit our deepest fears about technology. The most famous is that of the Marianas Web. The legend says there is an even deeper, inaccessible level that holds humanity's greatest secrets. It's a fascinating idea, but with no technical basis. It's the El Dorado of the digital world. Another famous legend is that of the Red Rooms, supposedly live broadcasts where anonymous viewers would pay to control terrible events. Despite their fame, there has never been concrete proof of the actual existence of these rooms. Most experts believe they are scams to steal cryptocurrency from the curious, or simply tales to scare off newcomers. These stories say more about our own fears than about the reality of the network. But it would be a mistake and an injustice to paint the dark web only in dark colors. Remember, the technology itself is neutral, a tool, and anonymity can be a powerful weapon for good. In countries with authoritarian regimes, where the internet is censored and surveillance is constant, the dark web is a vital tool. It's used by journalists, activists, and ordinary citizens to communicate and report on what is happening there without fear of persecution. It's a refuge for freedom of expression where, on the surface, it does not exist. Major news outlets like the New York Times, the BBC, and Deutsche Welle maintain .onion versions of their sites. They do this so that people anywhere in the world can access free information, and more importantly, so that sources and whistleblowers can send sensitive information with maximum security. Organizations like the Freedom of the Press Foundation actively develop tools to protect these communications. The dark web is therefore a paradox, a place of duality, a place of light and many shadows. The dark web forces us to face an uncomfortable truth. Total freedom comes at a price, and anonymity, this double-edged sword, can reveal both our potential for courage and truth as well as our darkest impulses. It is not a place to venture into out of curiosity. It's a wild and complex territory with real risks. But understanding it is essential to understanding the dilemmas of privacy, security, and freedom in our own digital age. So, what other mystery of technology or history would you like us to unravel here on Light and Shadows Global? What detail about the dark web surprised you the most? Leave your opinion in the comments. If you enjoyed this journey into the depths of the internet, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next investigations. Thanks for watching. And remember, there is always something, or in this case, a whole world, hidden beneath the surface. Until next time.